Hey, I've got an idea. Let's eat a bunch of fat and then take a nap. I have a sleep fat bomb recipe for you today. We're always talking about making fat bombs that are going to energize you, full of MCTs, full of this and that. Maybe I just want to go to sleep. And the reality is you can make a cool sleep fat bomb. So I've got some cool ingredients. I'm going to go right through the recipe because it is super, super easy. And I'll explain the science a little bit as I go. But the star of the show here is going to be chamomile tea. So let me explain this. I took 2 bags of chamomile tea and I brewed it in very little amount of water. In fact, come on in here and take a look at this. Okay, we just have a couple ounces of water here. And I brewed this extra, extra strong. That way we really get the potency of the chamomile because we're going to make a whole dish with this, or not dish, but a lot of servings. So we want a lot of potency. The cool thing about chamomile is it does 2 things that are really good for sleep, and I'm a huge fan of it. For one, it is a potent anti-inflammatory because it has what are called terpenoids in it. Okay, these terpenoids affect what are called cyclooxygenase inhibitors within the body, or they are cyclooxygenase inhibitors. So COX1, COX2. So basically, if you're kind of stiff and maybe you have a little bit of pain from the day, it might not be a bad way to kind of ease yourself into a nice relaxed state. I'll tell you, I used to be 300 pounds. I still have aches and pains as a result of that, and they keep me up. Sometimes I don't realize it, but I don't sleep well because I'm kind of in pain, and it kind of sucks, right? It's not very fun. Anyhow, the other side is it has something that binds to what is called a benzodiazepine receptor. So it has something called apigenin. Okay, apigenin binds to a benzodiazepine receptor and acts as like a mild tranquilizer. That's why chamomile tea makes you feel kind of like numb. It's kind of cool. Okay, anyhow, so we've got just a small amount of chamomile tea, but 2 bags brewed into a small amount of water. Then we have coconut cream. I have a can of coconut cream. We're going to melt it down in just a second and I'll show you. Okay, so the coconut cream is going to give us the lauric acid. There was an interesting study that demonstrated that people that were deficient in lauric acid or didn't have a lot of lauric acid in their diet didn't sleep as well as those that did. It was an observational study, so take it for what it's worth, but still kind of interesting. But either way, it's just a delicious transport vehicle for the chamomile tea and some of the other things we're going to talk about. So let's head on over here to the stovetop real quick and I'll show you what we got going on. Okay, turn this on. So I already took a can of this. I'm going to fire this up real quick. Okay, bring this up to a nice hot temperature. This coconut is going to melt very fast. So coconut cream is the full fat coconut. That way we're getting all the MCTs, we're getting the lauric acid, we're getting a little bit of the water too. Okay. If you use coconut milk, it's going to be too thin and it's not going to set up because eventually we're going to put this in the freezer and we want to make sure that it sets up into the nice little molds that we set out for it. So anyhow, just melt that down a little bit. And then I'm going to add a ½ teaspoon of vanilla and I'm just going to eyeball it. So vanilla acts upon, well, kind of funny, it's called the vanilloid receptor. Kind of interesting, right? Which actually has an effect via our vagus nerve, and it helps calm us down that way, believe it or not. So it's something that can sense in our gut, travels up the vagus nerve, which is 80% afferent genes that travel to our brain, or afferent nerve endings, I'm sorry, travel up to our brain and can signal a calming effect. Have you ever seen like, I can feel it in my gut? Well, that sense is because it communicates with your brain. It's called the enteric brain, the enteric nervous system. Kind of a nerdy fun fact, but what we eat does have a direct effect on our brain. Okay, so this is already melted, already good to go. Okay, and then we're gonna take this off the stovetop. I'm going to bring it over here. Set a cloth down, set that down. Now we move into phase 2. So now I take 5, it's up to you, 5 to 10 grams of collagen. So each scoop here is 5 grams. I'm going to use 2 scoops. Now the reason I want collagen is twofold. Okay, for one, collagen is very, very good at obviously restoring hair, skin, nails, and joints. While we are sleeping, we are in our restorative phase. So we want to get those kind of restorative processes, that rejuvenation going. Collagen is a great thing to do that. But more importantly, the primary constituent, the amino acid, is glycine. Okay, you could use straight up glycine if you wanted to, but that's a little nerdy. Glycine is going to lower our core body temperature via vasodilation. So what it does is it triggers blood flow to go to our extremities, which lowers our core body temperature. And when our core body temperature lowers, it triggers the release of melatonin, which therefore helps us fall asleep. But there's also some other benefits that come along with it too as far as sleep. It also has some sensory effects too. So here's something that's very important though. Okay, as you're putting the collagen in, sprinkle it in and stir it as you go. Whoops, that was even a little too fast. Okay, so I'm gonna pour it with my right hand so I have more just dexterity and control. And I want to sprinkle it in because if you clump it in, you will end up with collagen clumps. Okay, the collagen sets up really quickly. And the collagen is also what's going to help make this into sort of a nice sleep bomb when it actually sets up. Okay, so I'm going to keep on stirring more in. Stir as you sprinkle. Collagen is so underrated. I think especially on a ketogenic diet when sometimes people have issues with sleep, collagen really just does help a lot. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my chamomile into the mix. Look at that. See, I just mixed it right in. Makes it a nice kind of golden color. And then here's a little hack. You get a lot of potency out of the tea bags. Squeeze that. Get that sucker in there. Look at that. Okay, so we got lots of potency. Now, the part that people get confused about. You're on keto. Why the heck do you want fruit? Well, I am going to do 4 tablespoons of frozen blueberries. In fact, I'm going to probably do more like 5 tablespoons. These are wild blueberries, so they're like the frozen, higher potency ones. 2 reasons. Even 5-6 tablespoons, you're only looking at like maybe 5 or 6 carbs. Okay, so the reason I want blueberry is twofold. One, I want the carbs right before bed, or close to bed anyway. Okay, what that's gonna do is it's gonna increase my insulin levels, which allows tryptophan to get into the brain. Tryptophan, precursor to all these different things, serotonin, melatonin, helps us fall asleep. We need that. Okay, very important to allocate carbs towards the evening time, whatever carbs you do have. But additionally, anthocyanin, the blue pigment with blueberry. Okay, what that does is it triggers something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So it allows the brain to recover and restore, which is exactly what we want when we go to bed, right? We want that brain restoration. Okay, so this is super easy. You know what? Forget it. I'm gonna add, so probably have a total of like maybe 6-7 tablespoons of blueberries in here. Okay, I'm gonna add it to this blender. You can use a magic bullet. I took my magic bullet home because my son really wanted a smoothie yesterday. And look, I've got these cool little molds here. I'll show you in a second. By the way, let me say, everything that I have here, okay, the coconut, the vanilla, a lot of the chamomile, the collagen, you can always get through Thrive Market. So let me just take a quick second to explain this. Thrive Market is an online membership-based grocery store, but they specialize in better for you products. So for me, doing keto and fasting, I can go to Thrive Market's website, I can sort by diet. So I can literally highlight keto, and it's gonna populate all the keto foods they have, which there are tons, there's like 200-300 of them. And then they get delivered right to my doorstep in a couple of days. And it makes it super convenient. So like if I'm traveling and I need keto foods, keto snacks delivered to my hotel or delivered to the home I'm staying at, it makes it so easy. But they are usually my go-to. Like my pantry is just stocked full of stuff that I get from Thrive because it saves me so much money because I'm not having to go to the grocery store. I'm not having to just waste my time doing that. So super convenient. Thrive Market has been a supporter of this channel for years. So I want to recommend that you check them out down below. Special link in the description for people to watch my videos, okay? So please do check them out down below. All right, so this is really easy now. Let's do... Kind of looks like a delicious smoothie already. Okay, move this out of the way. And now check this out. I've got these cool little silicone molds that are little cars. Now you could use regular silicone molds, whatever. I've got a toddler and this is left over from the holidays when we were melting down some chocolate and making it into like a sugar-free chocolate treat for him. And he's really into cars and trucks and all that stuff because he's 3, but I'm into cars and trucks and I'm not 3. Okay, so now, just to make it level, I'm only gonna fill these ones in. Remember, it's okay if you overflow a little bit. It's all good. Okay, so we are going to put these in the freezer for about 15 minutes for them to fully set up, 15-20 minutes. Each one is going to be about 50 to 75 calories, so you could have 2 or 3 of them. 2 or 3 of them is going to do the job and really helping you feel calm and feel a little bit, dare I say, sedated. Okay, so let's go ahead and put them in. Okay, let that set up. We got 15-20 minutes. Let's go grab a quick workout. All right, it's 2 p.m. It's time for bed. All right, seriously, got a little workout in. Not really, just for fun. Anyway, let's go ahead and grab them out of the freezer. Now, I did this Food Network style, already had a set made up already. So let's go ahead and grab these. Look at those. This is what they look like when they come out of the mold, right? All right, yeah, check this out, okay? Got fun little cars. You can make them whatever you want, okay? But in this case, they're perfect little fat bombs. So great little treat. You could add a little stevia and make them taste a little bit sweeter. Another thing that you can do is you can add lavender, okay? So if you wanted to have a little bit more potency, and again, with the color, it's kind of nice if there's some lavender. Some people put lavender, I don't know, on blast a little bit because there's some evidence that abundant lavender exposure can trigger an estrogenic response, but that's more coming from heavy essential oils. A little bit of lavender consumption is going to be fine, but you just don't want to do it all the time. But it's a nice twist to add some lavender to this. The lavender chamomile flavor combination tastes tremendous, but along with the coconut, another thing that you can do, you could add coconut flecks to it, like coconut shreds, and it gives a nice little bite to it. So these are a great thing. You can give them to kiddos. You can give them to, if they just need to, you know, calm them down a little bit. You could even infuse some melatonin if you wanted into there to really kind of knock anybody out, right? You don't want to use it as sort of that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, got a nice little treat here. That's a perfect sleep bomb. Keto bombs, fat bombs, they don't have to just be about energizing you. Now we can make things to help us just take the edge off of the day. So perfect thing after dinner. As always, keep it locked in here on my channel, and I will see you tomorrow.